when I went to Utah, got there, Dad came and picked me up. Gary came and picked me up, and I was so happy to see him. I mean, finally I was going to have my dad. So happy. His stepdaughter hated me. She said, "Don't hog Dad." That was her first words to me. I never got near him for more than a few seconds at a time, and everybody was always right there. There was no time for us to bond or spend time together or get to know each other. That was never going to happen. After I had Stacy, Mom had me put on birth control pills. She said it was to regulate my period. And so I had a supply of them with me. You know, I went down and I got a job there. But I had taken some Vivarins and they made me sick while I was at work. I was ready to faint there, and so the job I got I lost. But then I got another job working at a thrifty drugstore, and I was a cashier there. I was happy there. I met a pretty nice guy. I did not know that Terry was promiscuous. But she started dating the guy that I had fallen for, and we started fighting about it. Well, I don't know who found them. I think it was her mom, Ellen, found the birth control pills in her drawer. And she told them that I gave them to her. The one thing they tell you when they give you birth control pills is these are meant for your system. Everybody's different. You know, every woman's different. So you want to make sure you don't share these. And that was a big thing. I never would have done that. But she told them that I gave them to her, and Dad confronted me, or Gary confronted me about it, and he said, I told him, I said, I didn't give them to her. I would never do that. He said, I don't believe you. That hurt so bad. I said, well, if you feel that way, if you don't trust me, maybe we shouldn't stay here. He said, well, you can leave the baby. I said, no way, don't you guys get it? I'm trying to keep my daughter. I just want her with me. I just want to live and be happy and have my daughter. I don't want anybody to take her for me. And I knew that they all hated me, so why would I give her to them? I was afraid they would do the same thing to me Mom did. So I put all my clothes into a garbage bag. And I put Stacy's coat on her, and we walked out the door into a blizzard. And I dragged that bag, and I had Stacy in one arm and dragging the bag with the other and crying. God, we were both bawling. And this car stopped next to us. And they said, we're Mormons and we'd like to help you. Can we give you a ride? And I cried so hard I didn't know what to do. They said, please let us help you, please. Come in and warm up, bring the baby in out of the storm, and we'll find a way to help you. And I did. And I called Dad, Jerry and Randy's father. And I asked him if I could come and stay there. And he told me that he would send us a bus ticket. And I said, well, these kind people here already bought me one. I just needed to have a place to go. So I did go there. Jerry and Tina were living there. Tina had just had Ginny. Dad was living in the back bedroom, and they had the big bedroom because Tina had just had the baby, and I went down with Jerry and started working at Dunlap Oil. I was putting gas in cars. That was my job. And there was a little room in the back. Dad and I shared the bathroom. And it wasn't long before I'd wake up every night and Dad would be screwing me. I mean, he was having sex with me whether I wanted to or not. And at that point, you know, it was kind of like when I was a kid, I just did what he said. But it got to be unbearable. I wanted him to quit. And when I confronted him about it, he started screaming at me and banging my head against the wall. He grabbed me by my hair and just started cramming me into the wall. I mean, he's trying to kill me. He said, "You can leave, but you're not taking Stacy with you." And I said, "Why? So you can do the same thing to her you did to me?" And that just made him go off on me. I grabbed Stacy, I ran to the next door neighbors, and I called the police because he was beating me up. And they gave me and Stacy a ride out of there. I went and stayed with some people that I had met at the gas station. And this was when Todd and Mary were getting married. And I was supposed to go down there that weekend with everybody. I was going to be in the wedding, get to see my brother Todd get married. I was really looking forward to that because I love my brothers more than you can ever know. So I called down there to see if he would come and get me because me and Dad were fighting and I had left. And Mary said, "Todd's too busy. He can't come and get you." I said, "Well, isn't there somebody else there that can come and get me?" No, everybody's really got a lot of stuff to do." And then she told me that she didn't really think I was going to come, so she had already asked Tina to be her bridesmaid, and they had already fitted the dress to her, and that was that. And I really despised Mary for a long time for that, because if I would have just said, "Let me speak to Todd," I know he would have came and got me. But he didn't even know. I mean, you know, I just tried to find a place to live. And I met this neighbor while me and Stacy were living there in Morenci. And he said he was going to New Mexico, and I couldn't stay where I was any longer. I had to move out. Because that guy's mom didn't like me. I wasn't good enough for him. So me and Stacy went to New Mexico with this guy that we had just met. Well, that guy's mom didn't like me either. And I had gotten me a job at KOA Campgrounds, and she was watching the baby, but I felt like she was mistreating her. And so me and Stacy left. And we hitchhiked. We were going to go down to Arizona and just take our chances with Mom. And this man picked us up. He said he was a preacher. He was a disgusting pervert. He drove us to Phoenix. When we got there, me and Stacy stayed there for a couple of days, and then he showed up saying he wanted somebody to come and help him move his house to Oklahoma from Phoenix. He needed somebody to set up the furniture and clean the house up and make sure it was ready for his wife and kids when they got there. And I did not want to go. But Mom pushed me into it, and we went. A few days after that horrible scene with Randy, knowing everything, you know, when she told him, all he said was, "Can I go back to bed now?" She didn't care whose life she hurt. She didn't care. I would have never told Randy or Todd or Jerry. I was told when I was small, you know, if you tell anybody, your brothers are going to be ridiculed in school. You've got to not say anything, and I never did. I never told anybody. Mom told everyone. Her version. She told Grandma, she told Joyce, she told everybody. At any rate, after she told Randy, a couple of days later, we were watching a show called Dynasty, and Joan Collins, this lady that played this woman Alexis, she had taken a male escort with her to a party. And the next day, Mom says, you know, you could be an escort. And I go, Mom, I don't got clothes like that. I didn't have a concept of what an escort was anyway. I mean, for God's sakes, I was as frigid as the Arctic. I did not want sex. I hated sex. I didn't want to be touched at all that way. She said, well, they'll give you clothes. You just have to take them, you have to just go with them to parties, you know. Put a little fingernail polish on your teeth like you did, you know, when you were, you know, younger, and you can handle it. And she drove me down there to this place called an escort service. And as we got into the parking lot, she said, you can't come back home. I'll watch Stacy for you till you get some money. You'll make good money here, but you can't come back. Fred doesn't want you there. I was like, Mom, please, please don't do anything to Stacy. Please don't take her away from me again. She said, Darby, you'll make so much money, you'll be able to get a place in no time. A week or two, you can have her back. It sounded good to me, too. I went in and I got interviewed by the lady that owned it, the escort service. And when we finished, she said, you are not escort material. And I said, I gotta have a job. My mom won't let me come back to the house. I don't know, what can I do? She goes, I don't know, but she said, I'll get somebody to drive you wherever you want to go, and I'm sorry, we just can't use you, you know, and that was that. I had such a low self-esteem anyway. I thought I was ugly. I was ugly. I didn't feel pretty at all. I was relieved that I wouldn't be able to work there, but I didn't know how to tell Mom. I didn't know what to do. So scared. All I knew was that she had Stacy and I had no job. The guy that drove me away from there told me, you know, have you ever danced? And I said, no, I've never even been to a school dance. I don't know how to dance. He said, well, you can always be taught, you know, have you ever danced on stage? And I was like,